everyone, this is Sister Garver. Welcome to week 2 of our Study in Life Skills course. I just wanted to go through this week's assignments and give you a little bit of a heads up of what I'm going to be expecting and what you can expect to see this week. So to get started this week, you're going to want to hop on over to modules and scroll down to week 2. You'll notice here in week 2, we're going to start off with our week 2 quiz. Before you complete the quiz, make sure to read chapter 1 in your on-course textbook. You have the option while you are reading your chapters to go ahead and complete the notes in your Google workbook. The Google workbook notes are optional. You do not have to complete them. However, it can be handy because a lot of the quiz answers are pulled straight from that. The quizzes in this course are open book and open note. You can also search online. All of those things are just fine. The only thing you cannot do is you cannot consult with another person, but you can, any notes that you've made, anything that you have in your textbook, all of those things are just fine to help you get through the quizzes in this course. So just keep that in mind. So after you finish the quiz, you have a choice between two different journals. So the way that the journal activities work is that each week you will have a choice between two different journals. You're required to do one. However, you may, if you would like, do both journals and you'll receive an extra 5 extra credit points. There are a few weeks where you will have 2 journal assignments. And in each of those journal assignments, you will have a choice between 2 different topics that you can write about. In those few weeks where we have 2 journal assignments, you will be required to complete 2 journal assignments. However, if you choose to complete all 4 of them, you can receive 5 points for each extra journal entry that you complete. So there's only a couple weeks that it looks like that. But there are a couple weeks where you'll have a choice between a couple of different journal entries, and you'll have the opportunity to get a little bit more extra credit if you choose to complete the other option in the journal. So for this week, in your journal, you're going to be completing either 2 or 3. Journal 2 is about learning, and Journal 3 is about strengths and weaknesses. So my general expectation when you're answering questions in here, I'm looking for usually about 2 to 3 sentences for most of the entries. There are some where it will specifically say we want you to list 10 things or write a paragraph. A paragraph I would generally expect to be about 5 to 7 sentences. So again, around 2 to 3 sentences usually is going to be a sufficient answer for any of the journal entries. But read each individual question for instructions, because sometimes it'll tell you to do a list. Sometimes it will tell you to write a paragraph. Just kind of, read through it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, so the journal entry, again, just to review, you are choosing either Journal 2 or Journal 3, which is, the assignment is worth 10 points. But if you choose to complete both of them, then you can receive an extra 5 points of extra credit. Okay, so our last assignment for the week is your first academic skill plan, which is for reading. And I wanted to go over that just a little bit. So the academic skill plans are in your Google workbook, and you're going to want to scroll all the way down to the bottom. And they have all the academic skill plans listed down here. And if you click on the little title in the sidebar, it will jump you straight to the assignment. If you open this up and there's no sidebar, there's just a little, looks like piece of paper icon over here. Click on that, it'll open the sidebar, and then it'll jump you can jump straight to whatever assignment you're working on. Okay, so about the academic skill plans. So this week you'll be completing your first one for the topic of reading. So this first question here is one that trips people up sometimes, talking about your present situation. They're talking about specifically your present situation as it relates to reading, or in other words, a problem or challenge that you tend to have with reading. So my example here is getting easily distracted. Another example might be perhaps you have ADHD, perhaps you have difficulty taking notes on what you read, or you read it but you don't understand it. Maybe there's complicated vocabulary, any number of challenges. You just need to write at least one challenge here. And for the academic skill plans, just one sentence is all that's needed, unless you need to explain further for these. So explain your current situation briefly, and then you're going to say how you want your situation to be. And this is where you're imagining that you've accomplished your goal, and this is what you'd like your situation to be. So for example, in this instance, that you are able now to stay focused while you were reading. Okay, so after you have identified your present situation and how you'd like your situation to become, we're going to go down here and we're going to choose some of these choices. You're going to fill in this box, choice 1, 2, and 3, you're going to fill in 3 different choices of possible things that you can do to help you overcome your challenge, whatever those choices might be. So for example, if you felt like annotating your text might help you to not be distracted, then that could be one of your choices. So you fill in 3 different choices, possible choices, and then you'll scroll down and you're going to fill in 3 possible outcomes. When you list the outcome, I want you to be kind of specific. It only has to be about a sentence, but when you're talking about your choices, so here for this one, for creating a distributed reading schedule, I just put that there to remind myself of what the choice was. So your likely outcome might be something like, I will finish my reading on time. So that would be something that you anticipate will happen if you keep to your goal. And so do a likely outcome for each of the 3 possible choices. And then what you're going to do is you're going to commit to one of these choices as a goal for this week to work on. And you're going to write that here as your goal. So you only need to choose one of these. Some people get really overenthusiastic and choose all 3. Choosing too many goals at once can make it a little harder for you to accomplish them, and sometimes you can get distracted. So I just want you to choose one goal per week that you do an academic skill plan, and you're going to write a specific goal based on what possible choice that you picked up there. So for example, here's a goal saying I will make a reading schedule to divide my reading up throughout the week. Some people get a little confused on the goal. When you write a goal, you want that to be the specific action that you plan to take. Sometimes people will say, I want to stay focused while reading. That would actually be considered an outcome, not a goal. So when you're writing your goal, you want to make sure you're listing the specific action, the specific thing that you're going to commit to doing during this week for the academic skill plan. If you have any questions about that, of course, always send me an email. And then the last question here, this one sometimes gets overlooked, and so you got to watch out for that one. Saying when and how you'll evaluate your plan. You really didn't need to pick a specific time. The very easiest way to do that is just say that you're going to evaluate your goal next week when you complete your ASP report. You will have an ASP report a week after each of your academic skill plans are submitted. So that's the easiest way to do it. You're certainly welcome to make it a longer goal if it's something you feel like you want to do for the whole semester. If you're going to do that, make sure that you do still mention that you're going to evaluate it next week as well. So usually you shouldn't be going, and a general rule, when you make a goal, you shouldn't go longer than a week without looking back on it and saying, okay, how am I doing? And do I need to switch things up? Do I need to reevaluate? Okay, so that's the academic skill plan. Once again, just to quickly review, you're going to identify your situation. You're going to write out some possible ways to fix that situation. Then you're going to choose a goal, and you're going to tell when you're going to look back and evaluate your goal. So that pretty much wraps up what we're going to be doing for week 2. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help and happy to walk you through any of these assignments where you might have any questions or any areas of confusion. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.